We're recording. So, yeah, there's an extra copy right there. The presentation I'm giving you today is broken up into three parts. One, what UCO does, what WPRF does, and what the responsibility of the association is. So this is for everyone that's either a unit owner, a renter, or an officer, or not an officer, or if you want to be an officer. But we try to answer as many questions as we can. Usually, for me to go through it, if we don't have too many interruptions, is about an hour and a half, and we use the last half hour to answer questions. Okay. If you have a specific question on what we're talking about, ask it now. If not, save it for the end. Okay. So, UCO. What is UCO's mission statement? We oversee the major contracts that go into the village. Security, transportation, roads, cables, and insurance. And why do we do that? Because in 1999 there was a contract signed by the associations called the Bilateral Agreement. So, if you are an officer and you have not heard it or you have not seen that bilateral agreement, if you email Donald at ucomaintenance@gmail.com, he will be happy to send it for the one for your building. Before I forget, everybody knows Eva Richeski, Joanne Robinson, our treasurer, Patricia Caputo, our vice president, Donald, our property manager, and Stuart Richland, the other vice president. And of course, Ruth Drees, the editor of our paper. At UCO, we do investigations. We do barcodes, we do gate passes, and we notarize paperwork for the association. And we have a website that's called unitedcivic.org. Make yourself available, go on that website. There's a lot of information on there, projects that we're doing. Also, if you are an officer and you require forms, people have been asking to be able to download the forms. They're not interactive. You can now download them, but you still have to drop them off at the office. For an investigation, for a sale or a rental, you can download them, give them to wherever you have to. They have to be brought in person. And the barcodes, you know, there's a lot of things. For some reason, we hear every day, my barcode worked for 30 years. I've never had to come into the office and update it. Well, we've only had barcodes for 9. So, as far as expense-wise, we keep the cost at a bare minimum. It's just to cover our cost of operating the system and the purchasing the barcodes. In most places that use the barcodes that go on the outside of the car, there's a 2-tier system. A unit owner pays one amount, a renter or pays something else. We keep it all the same. And we're able to do that because we have volunteers. If we had to pay people to do that, it would cost you more money. As far as a gate pass, the difference between a gate pass and a guest pass. A gate pass is something that you can get for up to 6 months to have someone come into the village, to go into your apartment, check your apartment, to be your guest. Does not allow him to come into the use of any of the facilities, the pools, the tennis courts, bocce ball courts. Can't do anything. That's only to get them through the gate. If you want someone to come in and be your guest and get a guest pass, has a yellow stripe in there, you can get them for 1 or 2 weeks. You have to come to WPRF. And that allows you, that person, to go to any one of the facilities as long as you're with them. Does not give them free rein, just so that you're aware of that. And we notarize paperwork for the association. If you have a sale, if you need contracts signed and notarized, we do that for you. We will not notarize divorce papers. We're here for association business. Most of us I think currently we have 4 notaries. We're going to have 5 soon. We will notarize if you have a pension and you need to know that you are alive in order to keep your pension. You can come in and we will notarize that paper for you. We do investigations for the association. If you have a new unit owner that's coming in, a sale or a renter, we will process that paperwork for the association. The process is very simple. It's listed on the front page of that application. A check must accompany that, and the check must come from the association. For some reason, people feel that they don't want to write a check, or they don't, because Seacrest or their management company has a check. We'll have the person that's being investigated write a check directly to UCO. Doesn't work. The check has to come from the association. Why do you want to use UCO for investigations? It's very simple. If for some reason you're not happy with the results that you get back, now on a sales you get a criminal and financial background check. On a rental, you will only get a criminal background check, so that you're aware of that. When the paperwork comes back and you as an officer feel that you're not happy with, or you want an opinion, if you have the right to reject or not to reject the individual, okay, we will send it to an attorney that will give you a legal advice of whether you can or cannot reject that individual. Should you follow our attorneys, and you can always go to your personal attorney for your building, but if you follow our attorney's advice and you reject the individual and there is a lawsuit, you get sued for whatever reason, the insurance has a $5,000 deductible and we will pick up that $5,000 deductible. As far as how successful that program is, in 10 years, we paid out 3 times. It's in 10 years. We've had 3 claims which we had to put out $5,000. So if you follow our judgment or what our attorney tells you to do, you're pretty safe. The village is broken up into 4 quadrants. 2 of the vice presidents are here now. We have 2 other. One is Jerry Satowski. It is broken. Each quadrant has its own VP. If you have a question and you are a board member or you're a unit owner pertaining to your building, and if you want to get clarification for some reason, you're welcome to come into the office or call, speak to one of the quadrant VPs, and they will try to help you. What we will not give is legal advice. And that's the first thing that people say, well, I have a question. Can I do this? Well, it's legal advice. We're not going to give you legal advice. That's what you should have an attorney for. Management company. Over the last several years, there's been a little scuttlebutt that you could save a couple of $1,000s a month if you self-manage your own building. We're not proponents of that because there's a lot involved in maintaining your building. There's paperwork that needs to be sent out. Annual meeting has to be notices need to be sent out in advance, 60 days in advance, and then a second meeting needs to be posted. And with the new laws that came out in last year, you now must have 4 meetings a year. Every quarter you're supposed to have a meeting. Your management company can help you with that to make sure that you stay compliant. Also, they will help you with your budgets. They'll help you they will help you at your annual meeting with the elections. They will notify SunBiz for you. That's a form that you have to fill out to update the corporation status of your building. Century Village has 309 independent corporations. Every association that you live in is an independent corporation. That paperwork must be filed on an annual basis. And we've had instances where self-managed buildings have forgotten to send that paperwork in, and we recently found 1 or 2 associations that were actually being dissolved because they had not filed. So it's very important that you work with your management company. update officers list. After you've had an election in your building, we have a form, it's also available on our website, who your officers are. President, vice president, whoever is going to represent your building. If you have, most buildings, it's one delegate for every 25 units that you have. You have to list that delegate. On that form, you can list additional delegates. If you're not going to be here, there should always be somebody at the first Friday of the month to represent your building. That's where you are the board of directors of Century Village, if you are a delegate. And you come in and you make all the decisions. You vote on budgets, you vote on major projects, you elect officers, and it's all done through the delegates form. So that's very important that that delegate form is kept up to date. And we have associations that we find that one every once in a while that's 4 or 5 years. Well, it's always the same people, and then we call them up. One is in the grave, one is in a nursing home, one person sold. So that needs to be updated. And, yeah. Excuse me. So it's very important that that delegate form be updated. Now, during the course of the year, if you have an individual that has sold a unit or has passed away and you want to replace someone on that delegates form, a new delegates form must be completely filled out. Eliminate the person that passed away or moved on, and fill it in. You come to the front desk at UCO, we date, stamp it, the person that's there signs it, and then it usually takes a day or two for us to update your records. So it's very important that that paper gets filled out correctly. Right. The seal of what? Oh yeah, your corporate seal, I'm sorry. I'm a little stenotic this morning. I ate too many beans last night. Yeah, your corporate seal must be on there, okay? Violation letters, if you have a renter or you have a unit owner that's not making payments on time, whatever the problem is, the first letter should come from your management company. Within 30 days, if you don't get a response, then it goes to your lawyer, okay? All right. You also need an attorney. It's amazing, of the 309 associations that every day we hear, oh, we don't have an attorney. Every association should have an attorney, either on retainer or that you deal with to help you answer questions and guide you through any legal issues that you have. The other part is legal documentation. There are 3 governing documents: the Declaration of Condominium, Articles of Incorporation, and your bylaws. All those must say the same thing. Now, you know, some of you are new. If you're new officers, you're coming in and you say, well, we've had bylaws. Well, over the last, 1999 was the last update that most associations had. There are several that are still dealing with bylaws from the 70s. And I'm sure that amendments were put in that don't coincide. One of them is rentals. We have associations that have decided to be non-rental buildings, and they amended their bylaws, but their declaration of condominium and articles of incorporation say that they are rental buildings. And the bottom totem pole is your bylaws. So if there's a conflict, somebody questions you, you are a rental building, even though you've changed your bylaws. The other is pets. You want to have a pet. Well, we're a non-pet friendly building. I apologize. Okay, so it's very important that you go bring that paperwork to your attorney, have your attorney check all 3 documents and make sure that they all say the same thing. That's to keep you out of trouble. Okay? That's us as far as you go. I'm going to turn it over to Eva, and she'll give you what WPRF.
Good morning. So for those that don't know me, I run the rec facilities here. So I'm going to touch basically on IDs, because that is where UCO and WPRF work in tandem about the issuance of IDs and the process that's involved. So I wanted to let you know that the WPRF IDs, once given to you, they don't belong to you, they're on loan. And they are on loan for residents in good standing, and that means following the rules as posted, which I'm sure none of you have stood before those rules and actually read them to understand them. And if you wanted a copy, I'd be happy to give that to you if you come and stop by my office. You also have to remain current on your WPRF payments. Many people live here and actually don't ever use the facilities. It's an inexpensive way to live, or more inexpensive than what we're finding outside the gates. Safe. They come, they're still working, and they don't use the facilities. They don't even come for an ID. But you cannot opt out of making your WPRF payments because you're not going to use the facilities. That language is written in your rec lease, and it binds you. If you own the unit, you must make your payment whether you're going to use the facilities or not. The primary function of the WPRF ID is to access the rec facilities. The second function would be access at the gates. Another function would be it gives you the ability to board a bus. And the third, and but probably more important, is the fact that without a valid WPRF ID, you will not be given a barcode. Okay. It is the board that instructs WPRF's ID office what kind of an ID they're going to give, right? That you're going to tell us. And based on that COA, 2 signatures are required. This is more easily achieved in season when everybody's down than it is over the summer months. I know over the summer months, some buildings have a skeleton board, and they're lucky if they have even one member that's, you know, at the building. So we will accept 1 signature in the summer months if it's a hardship case where you don't have a second board member. And also, anybody signing, any board member signing, they need to live in 2 separate units. We can't have a husband and wife or a husband and a girlfriend that live in the same unit and serve on the board to be able to sign. To me, it's an indication that possibly the rest of the board knows nothing about it. And that, you know, you've got these people making a decision for the building without the other board members being aware. So we need people living in 2 separate addresses in order to sign. I just wanted to talk very quickly. So, I know that there's a bit of back and forth when you've got a new owner, a new renter, or you're going to renew, a lease. And so, you know, between UCO and WPRF, and I know for some board members this has become very vexing because there's been changes to this procedure. And the reason we do that is because we have a lot of people that are just dishonest, trying to cut corners, creating paperwork to look like it came from UCO. So there are certain procedures involved, but WPRF will not issue an ID card without the UCO seal in conjunction with the building seal. So though this is vexing, I'm going to ask that you do not take it out of my staff in the ID office. They're going to tell you what you need to do. They're trying to be helpful, and you may not have the time, you know, so please don't take it out on the staff. Donald, do you have something?
Yeah, or me.
Yeah. Okay, so don't take it out on my staff and don't take it out on
I'm
Donald.
taking meetings on my end too, don't worry.
You know, listen, it's a busy world. I know we're all running in a million different directions, but honestly, I've been witness to some screaming and yelling at the staff. You wouldn't want to be treated that way, so please, you know, let's all treat each other as human beings, okay?
Yeah, if I can add to that, these procedures that we have in place are all intended to protect you, the unit owners and the association boards, from surprises. People showing up in a building, moved in, who investigated this person, who approved them. And in many cases, they are undesirable people. That's the reason they're trying to get around the procedures. So We know it's a pain in the neck, but it's for everybody's good, so we hope you'll help us and cooperate.
All right, I also want to mention that if you ever take, there is a back to your ID, WPRF ID, and there's language back there. And that language will tell you that there is no copying, no loaning allowed of any of the IDs. And the ID will be confiscated. The copied ID or the loaned ID will be confiscated when presented. All right, outstanding IDs. So if you have a unit owner that rents out the unit, or you have new owners, but the old IDs weren't turned in, the old renter IDs weren't turned in, that creates a problem. We're supposed to have those back before we can issue new ones. So you always want to make sure that you get those IDs back, the old IDs back to the ID office. And then also personal aides and paid caretakers must have a WPRF ID if coming to facilities with the resident that they're taking care of. Personal aid is a family member or a friend that steps up. A caretaker is someone that's getting money to take care. So that's important for you to know, that if they're going to be coming to the facilities and you have someone that you would mention to them, or you have to make sure to get your aide or your caretaker an ID. And that pretty much wraps it up for me.
Okay. I see some people look like they have a question to ask. Everybody understand what, yeah, go ahead. I knew it.
Hi, Renata Gehring from Coventry B. Simple question, what does WPRF stands for?
West Palm Beach Recreational Facility.
Thank you very
Very
much.
simple, West Palm Rec Facility.
Okay.
Okay. Anybody else?
Go ahead, ma'am.
Yes, about the, I don't know if we're allowed to do this, but in our case at Berkshire C, my name is Janice Laho, we only have one person who is there, and he's our vice president through the summer. Now, can we, before everybody leaves, vote in a temporary board member that will be there year-round to help sign some of those documents?
Sounds like a legal question to me.
Okay, I didn't.
You should be talking to your attorney,
All right.
okay? You're looking for like an alternate to fill in for an
Yeah.
officer.
Mhm.
So that, this is a legal question. You should be talking to your attorney, say, can we do this? Legally. Okay, because you're putting responsibility of a board member, and board members, you have directors and officers insurance. An outside person doesn't have that. If he makes the wrong decision, he is legally liable for a decision if he makes the wrong decision.
But they do just take one signature for that.
They will
if
take
they-
one signature, yes. Okay?
Manager can say.
And if, in case your management company will also, if you ask them, will sign as the second person, and WPRF will accept the management company. Okay?
Thank you.
I would want to bring one other thing up that
Yeah,
came
sure,
to
sure.
mind. Recently, a form came in, and a building had chosen to do was that the board members, because they came and went so frequently, pre-signed COAs. This was pre-signed, they were not on property at the time that they were presented, so I just wanted to bring that up. I know it's a no-no, but, so I don't know if you guys want to.
Well, that's one of the reasons we started with the seal.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yes, Bruce?
Yeah, I know that situation, and I don't believe they were pre-signed. I believe they were forced.
Forged. Yeah.
That happens too, but
Because I
remember
compare signatures with
when
the sales contract signatures.
when an association director affixes his seal, that is the same as a signature. If it's applied, the seal's applied fraudulently, that's fraud. So it's no different than forging a signature.
Right, so if you have a whole board that's fraudulent, you're stuck.
No, there's no such thing as it's stuck. If there's fraud, it should be reported to the state attorney's office.
Yes, sir.
A question for Donald Foster. First of all, we enjoy your blurbs and keeping us in stream of things and
Happy to
activities
do it.
going on in the village. My question is, I believe it was you, it could have been a VP on the board. A while back, you mentioned, you had an article about the lanai, that
Yeah.
it's not owned by the owners, and the verbiage could be wrong.
Yeah,
But,
no, the thing you're talking about is called limited common element.
Unless-
This is actually Fausto's presentation, but since you brought it up, in most of the buildings in Century Village, the back patios are not part of the unit. Unit owner doesn't pay taxes on that square footage. They're limited common element. Belongs to the association, but the unit owner has exclusive use of it.
So, and you mentioned if it was modified, that goes away, like if windows.
Not always. It depends on the association, their documents, and the circumstances. It doesn't necessarily go away when they're modified. That would be a case-by-case basis to be reviewed by your attorney.
I think what trying to think of how you're saying, if all of the lanais are all made the same way, as a screen room, okay? Should, at one point, those screens be removed and we put windows in, okay? The association is not responsible for the windows.
The windows themselves,
Right, the window, but the concrete that those windows are attached to, if that should crack, that is the responsibility of the association.
and even then, all right, a previous owner put in those windows. If those windows are leaking and causing damage to the concrete, the floor, the walls, the ceiling, that's 100% association responsibility. So it's tricky because there's been so many different types of modifications over the last 16 years. So when you come into a question like that, you really need to get a legal opinion on that. Some associations have made amendments that really set this down in stone. Most have not. That's where it gets tricky.
I guess where I'm going is, if an owner goes to the board and says that my walls and the lanai are cracked.
Depends on where the wall is. Depends on what's causing the crack. All right? Once again, it's obviously you have a specific situation in your building that you're trying to figure out.
No, it's hypothetical.
Okay, usually it is though. Like I said, it varies from building to building and unit to unit and lanai to lanai. So when these things come up, I always say, get an opinion first. It's worth a couple $100 to be on literally on solid ground. All right?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I understand that for lanai and insurance. What happens when you pour concrete on top of your existing
That's a no-no.
lanai?
All right, so what you're describing, and I know exactly the situation you're talking about, Wayne, because you showed it to me, is some associations have allowed their unit owners to what's called a bump out. They removed the exterior wall and then bumped out to and made a new exterior wall where the screen wall used to be. In some cases, it was done legally with permits and board approval, engineering, the whole 9 yards. In most cases, not. In Wayne's case, someone poured concrete to level up the porch up to the level of the unit. Well, that wasn't the original intent of the engineering. There's supposed to be a drop there because that's considered to be a weather room. Water is supposed to come in and supposed to come out. So, again, Wayne, every situation is different. Has there been engineering? Has there been a membership vote? Because this is limited common element. Has there been express board approval? Who's doing the work? I've seen really bum jobs. Stu's building is one of them right near you. And I've seen ones that were done 100% by the numbers. So every situation is different.
Yes,
Right, you know none of those things were done, but my question is now, if something happens to that lanai, is the association responsible?
100%,
Because they just-
100% a lawyer question to ask. Wayne. I would
dream of just giving you an idea of that.
Maria Blank from Chattahoochee. We have a problem with one of our units, the low level. We have a tree that's growing and the roots are, it's a corner unit. And the tree, it's an old tree.
Yeah.
The roots are lifting up the Nile and it's going into,
All right, are you on your board, Mrs. Blank?
excuse me?
Are
Yes.
you on? You are, okay. Who's your manager?
Seacrest.
Get your manager over there, assess the situation. There's no reason why you can't remove a tree. You do have to get permit to remove the tree. But if it's causing damage to the building, that should not be a big problem. $2,000 to get rid of the tree.
To go in there because, you know, now it's really causing a problem. It's going
Okay.
right into.
Get your board together with your manager and, you know, get it done. We're talking about the one at your building, about $2,500, including getting rid of the roots and the stump. You may be required, if you have to pull permit, to plant a couple more trees. That's like the worst case scenario. In most cases, you just take them out and that's it. Not a big deal.
But the roots, you know, because
Yeah,
the roots will still grow underneath that
They'll keep growing
foundation.
because they're looking for water, and what's underneath that, the sewer pipes,
Water.
you know?
Yeah, and the
Water
sewer
and
is
the other
gonna
thing,
affect
which is
sewer,
what plants love.
electrical, and whatever is down there.
Yep, they will seek water, so, yeah, not a big deal.
Work with your management company first.
Who do you got, Seacrest, right?
Yeah.
Well, Jeff, he'll give you two proposals instantly.
I got a few more things.
Go ahead.
First of all, you mentioned about the meetings. They have to be posted.
Yes,
That's the law.
yes.
Or you're gonna have a complaint in a week. I'll send you an email with it. Delegate,
Yes.
can the board refuse you to be a delegate?
Yes.
Okay, so I guess we won't have any delegates. And then attorneys on retainer, they fired ours.
Board decision.
Strictly
So now we
board.
don't- we don't
That's a
have to
business,
sign.
that's a business decision by the board.
All right.
Group, just so you understand, Wayne is not on his board. He used to be on his board, and he's somewhat at odds with his board. So a lot of these questions are based in a particular dispute, which is why we're giving him kind of short, curt answers to be polite. But we really can't get involved in situations between unit owners and their board. It's actually prohibited in the UPA bylaws, not to interfere in the internal governance of an association.
But
We can just move on now.
Yes.
Come on.
I'd just like for people to know that the catch-22 is,
Yeah, but this can't be a forum for your personal dispute, Wayne. So we're gonna cut you off there. We're gonna move forward. Plus, Festus got a lot to go.
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, I'm Joanne Haas, I'm with Chatham R. The WPRF lady.
Yes.
What about,
That's your new name, Eva.
I'm sorry, I forgot your name.
I answer to several things, not to worry.
Me too.
Only nice things.
Okay, what about people who are partners in terms of forms? I know that we have, you know, when we get a new renter or, you know, a new unit owner, we have to put in the form so that they'll get their ID. Is there a form for people who are partners? Because we have 2 or 3 people who have partners and not married.
Right,
And
so,
every year we have to do a COA. Is
Eva, let me
there,
grab that one.
you got it.
All right, this is related to federal law regarding housing. It is it's an offense to federal law for a board to inquire about the marital status of any residents in regard to housing. This, as soon as you said the word married or not married or partners, my antennas went up. You just don't treat that subject. They live together, that's it. Consider them to be a married couple.
But she's talking about COAs.
Right, so,
An occupant.
because every year we do a COA
Yes,
for these
We're
partners.
gonna,
So they're occupants, that's
We're-
gonna come up.
we're gonna cover that into the
Oh,
next
okay.
part, yeah.
Great, thank you.
the only thing I would say is that without the partner's name being on the deed, they will always be an occupant.
Right, well, that,
So that's what you would check off, would be the occupant box
Right.
for
right.
your
Well,
COA.
that's what we're doing now,
Right.
but I was wondering if there was something that, they would, for long-term. I mean, they've lived
No.
together for like 10
No.
years.
Always be investigated.
No?
O-
Okay.
Owners have no expiry date. Anybody who is not an owner,
Right.
renter, occupant, has to redo every year.
Okay, all right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Most of these questions we're gonna cover in the last part, okay?
Thank you.
So, and if we don't cover it, then that's gonna be the last half hour, 45
Okay.
minutes, we'll try to answer it for you. So, now, what is the responsibility of the association? So, in your association, you should have a board of directors, you should have annual elections, you're supposed to hold 4 meetings a year. Now, up until July 1st of 2025, this was not statute, it wasn't mandated. You could have 1 meeting, 2 meetings, but now it is mandated. You need to have 4 meetings a year. They have to be notified, every unit owner needs to be notified, has to be posted on your bulletin board. 2 are very easy. 1 is your annual meeting, your election, and your second is very easy too, that is your budget meeting. Now, you should have annual budget meeting where a budget is presented by the board to all the unit owners to be approved, and you should be aware of that. The other 2 happened even if nobody shows up, but they must be noticed. They must be on the board. 1 person shows up, you have hello, goodbye, and you're done. But you must have them, they must be posted, and you must keep a record in your records for your building that you've had all 4 meetings. You must have a copy of the posting, you must have a copy of the letter, and some kind of sign-in sheet to show who showed up. It could be a 5-minute meeting, it doesn't matter. Okay?
Can I add to that, Costa?
Sure.
Just to make it more clear for understanding, if they're not aware, the budget and the annual meeting has to be notified many, 14 days on the budget, and then what? The first letter goes out two or three
Well,
months before the
yeah,
annual?
your annual elections are 60 days out,
Yeah,
and then 30 days out, and then your sign goes up.
but the other 2, or the other board meetings,
14-day notice.
14 day,
14 days for your other
No.
2 meetings, it's 14-day notice.
I thought it was 48 hours to post a board
That's
meeting.
an emergency meeting
Or a regular meeting.
or a regular
Regular
meeting.
meeting, that's what I mean.
Right.
The other 2 regular meetings, you
Budget
posted
meeting
on the
for-
bulletin board. and-
Budget meeting, 14 days. Annual meeting,
Yeah.
60 days.
Yeah.
Special membership meeting, 14 days.
Here's a quick question.
Yes,
Do the other meetings each year, do they have to be in each quarter, or it doesn't matter?
well, you want to try to space it out, but it should be quarterly meetings.
So like in the summer, you don't have too many people here. So
Doesn't matter.
when we have it in September,
Let-
well,
let-
we
let-
really want to talk about some
But
of these.
again, the legislators that put these laws into effect sometimes don't think the smartest things in the world. All they care is that you had 4 meetings a year, okay? And like I said, once it's posted and you have that meeting, if 1 person shows up and, or none, the 1 officer that's there says, meeting started at 2 o'clock, 2:01, no one attended, no one signed in, our second meeting of the year was held. No, but they don't have to come, but you have to post it, and it is now becomes record of your association. So you gotta have a record that you did it, okay? So, okay,
I have one
Sure.
follow-up question on that. Can a snowbird request a video or audio?
we're gonna get to that, okay? So,
Wait.
yes,
Question, does the sign-in sheet have to be written, or can you have,
It become, however
As
you
long
are
as it's on the
maintaining your
record.
records for
Okay.
your building,
Okay.
that's, and I'm gonna get to that too,
Okay,
okay? All your records have to be held for a minimum of 7 years. So if you're gonna, now, the statute requires you to have those meetings, and I'm gonna skip ahead just a little bit. Associations that have 25 units or more are required to have a website. We have been pushing for the last 2 years since this came out that every association have a website. Whether you have 10 units or 19 or 100. Makes it a lot easier. Transition-wise, new officers come in, they have no idea what happened before. Or somebody dies, paperwork is lost, and we've been hearing this for years. Well, the past president was president for 10 years, we have no idea where the paperwork is, or the treasurer, whoever it was. By putting everything on the website, it makes things a lot easier for you. Because you now are responsible to give every single unit owner, if they want a copy of their bylaws, articles of incorporation, declarations of condominium. If that place goes up for sale, the unit owner, okay, is entitled to those documents. In most cases, we've all bought into our buildings, when you sign, if you go back home, how many people got their paperwork when they purchased their units? Got a copy of all the rules and regulations, bylaws, article, you got it? Very good. Most people go to closing, and there's a little tiny box that the guy says, just sign here. And you just sign it and check it off. You're supposed to get all your documents at the time of closing, or they're supposed to be made available to you. So now the new statute that came in, for a little while it was kind of hairy, because when House Bill 913 came in, it said it was the responsibility of the association to give anybody that asked that information. So if a realtor came and knocked on your door, and I said, I need a copy of your bylaws, you had to give it to them. And then the legislators woke up and said, well, why? I don't have to give anything to the realtor, but I do have to give it to the unit owner. So the association is still responsible to give financials, any documentation to any single unit owner that asks for it. So if it's available online, you put the person onto your website, he downloads whatever he needs, and your job is done. If you don't have a website and you don't have that all information on there, you now have to go digging through records. And if you were not the president, you were not the secretary, you were not the treasurer for the last 3 years, you may not have that information. But you're still responsible, according to statute, to give it to that unit owner. So, firm believer that the best thing that could happen, put all your information on your website. As far as Zoom meetings, recording meetings, if your association allows Zoom meetings, you must maintain those records. So we have been having meetings for associations in UCO office. We will record that meeting for you, and before you leave, you will sign a paper that someone will give you a USB drive with what transpired in that meeting, and we're done. It is now up to you, the association, to maintain that for 7 years. Okay? If you download it onto your website, it's there. If you put it in your drawer and you lose it, you're responsible. So we're trying, like Donald said, we're trying to minimize the problems that you could have being an officer, and to make your life easier as an officer as more and more people are coming in and asking questions. Okay, you have to maintain your building. Have a committee. If you're an officer, walk around the building. If you are a unit owner and you see something, bring it up to your board. Make their life a lot easier. Work with your management company. If you are a board member, make sure, years ago, if you were a Seacrest building, the manager walked around the building with you once a month. Then it went every quarter. Now it went every 6 months. Now I'm hearing that some of them do it once a year. So you can't count on your manager to help you, you have to do it. You gotta walk around that building. And if you have a question, bring in your property, and just like the lady said with the tree. As soon as you saw those roots coming up, you should have talked to your management company. I need help, what do I do? And they would have told you, you need to cut the tree down, the roots need to be done. Don't let it perpetuate itself, don't let it get worse than what it is. The longer it takes, the more money it's gonna cost you. Proper paperwork for sales and rentals. We're going back to what Eva was talking about and what the lady was asking before. A sale, paperwork gets filled out, comes to the association reviews it, gets a check, drops it off at UCO. If you do not have a checkbook and Seacrest or Pruitt manages your building, you can still drop off the paperwork. We will accept it, and then you have the check sent to UCO. Until we get that check, the proper paperwork will not be returned to the association, but you can drop it off. As far as COAs, where you have a partner, if you have, a unit owner gets a residence pass, has a red stripe or white, the old ones were white, now it's a red stripe in the front. If you are a renter, it has a green stripe, and it says renter. That renter must present 30 days prior to the end of their lease to the association a new lease. We get 10, 20 a week. My lease expires tomorrow, what do I do? As a renter, it's your responsibility to get it to your landlord and have you present it to the board so that the board doesn't go crazy. Sometimes the boards are not readily available. Sometimes it takes time to do that. Once you have that, the association, if they agree, they bring the lease to UCO. UCO will type up a new certificate of occupancy. It'll be handed to you, it takes 5 minutes. We'll type it up, we'll give it to you, then a board member signs it, seals it, and you give it to the renter. In the case of an occupancy, an occupant is a person that's not on a lease and is not on the deed. It's a partner, it's a friend, it's a husband. A lot of people, for some reason, don't put them on the deed, okay? There's a form that the owner has to fill out requesting the permission of the board from Mr. or Mrs. X to be an occupant in that unit. Once the unit owner fills that, and the board has to sign it, seal it, come to UCO, and we will type up an extension of occupancy for you. Okay, does that answer your question?
Yeah.
But that form needs to be, it's readily available at the front desk. You just come in, but it is up to the board to approve the individual. Because we're hearing, well, UCO has to approve you. We don't approve anybody. Occupancy in your building is approved by the board of that building. Okay? The only thing, yes, sir.
What if the individual is under 55?
That is strictly a board decision. The board can have somebody under the age of 55 living in the building. As an owner, I could be 2 years old and own property inside Century Village. Can I live here? Not unless the board approves me to. Ownership is one thing, occupancy is another. But that is strictly by the board. The board determines that. When I came in here, I was only 50. My wife was 58. And I had to sign a paper, which I now find out is illegal, that if my wife died before I turned 55, I would have to leave the village and couldn't live here until I was 55. They can't do that now. Laws have changed.
You could do it then.
Well, but the lawyer said sign, I signed. You know, we learn something new every day. But does that answer your question?
Yes, it does, thank you.
Oh, okay. So,
But they won't give an occupancy card unless there's been an investigation done in the past.
That's
on that
correct.
person.
that's true too. That's the other part that when COVID came, we had to lax some of the issues that we were doing. The certificate of occupancy, we were hanging out blank forms, and the board was just doing what they wanted, okay? And this created problems not only for us, but for some of the boards. People were just being approved without actually being approved. So now, if you have a person that's been an occupant, and the board says, well, we want you to be investigated, you may need to have that person investigated. It is up to the board. But in a lot of cases where if we can go back 10 years, if we have not investigated that individual, we can, and we have some cases that even the unit owner hasn't been investigated by us. They just came in. We're not going to give you a certificate of occupancy. We're trying to help you not get into problems. And we can spend an hour here telling you all the different issues that associations are coming up with. Okay? And we're doing it not to hate, not because we don't like you, we want to do more work. We're trying to protect you and to protect ourselves. Because every insurance claim that we have costs all of us money. Right?
Yep, couldn't say it better.
Yeah, that's it. Okay. All board members should be certified. That is, if you are a board member, whether you're a president, whatever, February 10th is an HOA condo expo in downtown at the convention center. They have, the first thing they have is a 4-hour certification course. If you took the certification course last year, you now have to do a 1-hour update. That's mandated by statute, House Bill 913. Everybody has to have that 1-hour update. If you've never been to the if you've never been to the expo, please go. You get free parking, free lunch, lots of pens, and you learn a lot of stuff. And you make friends. You'd be surprised. The last time I went, I gave Donald about 20 pens, and he's almost out of them now. So he says, you better go again, I need more pens. Okay. Associations should have delegates. Those delegates should go to the monthly meetings. We give out as much information. We do have community websites, but at every delegate assembly, there's flyers, there's things in there of upcoming events. We try to give you as much notice as we can. And it's amazing how many people can go to the meeting, get that package, and never look at it. There's financial reports, there's updates on the UCO Reporter, anything that we think, we have seminars that come out by DBPR, we have presentations by the county, it's all listed in there. It's all readily available, and people don't look at it. So please look at it, and if you have a delegate that goes, tell them to bring an extra package. If you as president or vice president couldn't go, have one of whoever goes to represent your board to bring me back a copy so I can know what transpired. And if you don't, right after delegate assembly, you can come to the UCO office. We have extra copies. They're available in the lobby. And if there's none out there, just ask, because we always have some extra copies. You should have, as officers of the building, you should have a list of all the unit owners in your building. Case of an emergency, you should have a set of keys to every single unit owner in there. Case of an emergency that you need to go in. And this is I get a kick out of this one. Corporate seal. Corporate seal should remain in your building. Statute requires it to be no more than 40 miles from your apartment or from your complex. People take it home, they take it to Canada, they take it to California, they take it to Michigan, because they feel that if I have that seal with me, the building I'm the leader, I'm the Caesar. I'm the Pope. I call it the papal seal. Nonsense. You can order one for $20 or 25. If you don't know how to do it, call Donald. He's an expert at it. Okay? But that corporate seal allows you to do business for your building.
And if you get voted off the board and get mad, please don't throw the seal in the lake. And if you have a little arthritis in your hands and you can't squeeze, which is very common, they make one that you can do this. I can help you get that as well.
But the corporate seal, you need it for your delegates form, you need it for your packages of sales, rentals. If you have an emergency, you want to cut off somebody's services for non-payment, or somebody, one of the latest forms that we have is somebody's moving into the building and they want to bring in a pod as a storage unit to move in and out. You have to bring that form to us. It's available at the front desk, requesting from this date to this date. It shouldn't be there more than a day or two, okay? You can't live there for months. But it requires your seal and a signature, and you drop it off to us and we give it to security. And when the pod comes in, that is allowed to come to on the property. If we don't have that form and that's not a seal on it, we're not gonna let them in. Okay? If you want to cut off somebody's services for whatever it is, corporate seal, 2 signatures of the officers, will suspend their privileges, their calling privileges, whatever. But that seal is what gives you the authority to represent, do the business of your corporation. You're an independent corporation, 309 of them. Okay. If you have a new owner or a new renter, please let them know that you have the UCO reporter, you have the TV channels 590, 591, and 592, and we now have the community website. And Ruthie does the UCO reporter. Joanne was excellent in updating our channels and making them available. So we had 3 community channels, and we put a lot of information. A couple of months ago, the elevator was down at the clubhouse. Eva sent it to Joanne. Joanne had, within an hour, it was up there. There's no elevator at the clubhouse. So make yourself available, 590, yes. Okay? Make yourself available in those channels. If you have nothing to do and you're bored, watch those channels. There's a list of, we're being recorded today. This will be up tomorrow. It'll be available to watch yourself on TV.
Yeah, can I just interject something there?
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many residents I talk to, and they didn't know this, they didn't know that, and I always ask, well, did you look at the reporter? And we also have a new owner packet that we give out, and did you look at your in-house chat? No. So I just want to let you know that the reporter isn't just about UCO. There's a lot of information about WPRF that we try to put in there to help everybody be on top of things. So yes, please avail yourself, and please urge your new owners, new renters, whoever, that they should do the same, because knowledge is power, right? So, thank you.
Yes, welcome package. If you have a new renter or a new owner, when they get their ID, 99% of the time they will get a newcomer's package when they get their ID. If by some chance they did not get it, we have them available here at the clubhouse, and they are available at the UCO office. John Timmerman, Mr. Barcode Man, he always asks if we have a new person, the first thing, did you get a newcomer's package? And the first thing he does, if he says no, he goes and gives them one. There's a lot of information in there about WPRF and what UCO. It's broken down into 2 parts. And we try to update it almost every 6 months, at least once a year, but sometimes every 6 months. Yeah, usually after the election, and we'll have the new people on there. But we've made some updates in the middle of the year because we had, but minor changes to maybe a vice president that had resigned, so a new person had to be put in. And we did the update to try to give you the latest information as possible. All work done in your building, whether you are a unit owner or not, must be done by a licensed and insured tradesperson. Major work needs to have engineering, needs to have insurance, must be filed, must be gotten permission of the association. Okay, if you're doing minor stuff, whatever minor stuff is, we had a situation not that long ago where a president was presented, someone came in and says, I'm renovating my kitchen on Friday. Well, the person went away on Monday, she came back, and the whole apartment got gutted. And the person who said, I have permits. The permit was to renovate the kitchen, not to take out all the interior walls. So, yes, ma'am.
At one of the meetings, you said, and maybe I missed it, that they were gonna, the permit people, you know, from the city, the county, was gonna be here to talk about things. Did I miss it?
No, they're coming.
When is that?
I think March, right after the delegate assembly.
February 6th.
Oh, February after the delegate assembly.
February.
Yeah, they come once a year, that's a good
And
show.
do you know what time?
It'll be immediately after the delegate assembly,
Oh, okay.
in the same place.
Okay,
Yeah, it'll be in the theater, it'll be right after delegate assembly.
okay, thank you.
So, I mean, we try to get these people in here to give as many seminars as we can on fraud, or whoever, and we try to, I know that, I believe, John, I think we're gonna have a pill drop very shortly, right?
Working on it.
We're working on a new pill drop, where you can bring in your pills on the first Friday of the month, and the sheriff will be here to take it away.
And I tried to put on TV,
Yeah.
zoning and planning, I'll
Yeah.
have it on TV for quite a while.
Right, and we also record that meeting, and it will also be available on TV if by some chance you missed it, you couldn't be there. But it's always be there to be here in person so you could ask questions. Right, exactly. Okay, common element of the building, we just explained part of this. If you have a new owner or a new renter, explain to them what a common element of the building is. Okay? Do you know? We just discussed the patio. The patio is a limited common element. It's owned by the association, but it's got, whoever has that unit has the explicit use of that. Now, the catwalk in front of your apartment, can I put my plant, my carpet, my chair out there? Technically, no. And my understanding, you can put your chair there, but if you can't leave it there. Like if you gotta go to the bathroom or something, you fold it, leave it against the wall. If you're not gonna sit out there anymore, you gotta bring it back into your house. Same thing with carpet. Carpets, from my understanding, the fire department, if they have to come, don't wanna go over any carpeting or mats. The other question that we get sometimes, well, I have a wheelchair, so can I put a ramp on there and use the ramp? If it blocks the common element of the building, no. From what I've been told, you can, if you needed to get into your apartment, because some have a little rise, once you go inside, you gotta take it with you. Fold it up, out of the way. Well, that's up to the building if they want any decorations and stuff. Yeah, some bylaws prohibit you from putting any decorations on your door. You know, it's up to the association. It's not.
Yeah, but even then, there's actually a law, a state law, that says, despite anything in the documents, each unit owner can put up one piece of religious iconography. It could be the mezuzah that Jewish people have on their doors. It could be the Jesus nail. You can put one piece of religious stuff on your entryway. Yeah. I mean, otherwise, every mezuzah on every Jewish person's apartment would be a violation. It's not.
But check your bylaws.
Yeah.
Okay. I discussed the website. My personal feeling, every association should have a website. Now, the statute required that units of 25 or more have a website. The deadline used to be December 31st, 2025, and they extended it to January 31st of 2026. So by the end of this month, if you have 25 units or more, you need to have an active website. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, does Yuko have anybody that they can recommend to do
We have
website?
somebody that can will give you their card, they're compliant.
business, there are people that do
Right.
pick up websites.
We have someone that's doing a very good job in the village. He's got, right now, I think he's got about 36 or 37 units that he's
It's an
doing.
ad in the paper.
There's also an ad in the paper for him.
Oh, okay,
But if we have his card, we'll be happy to give it to you.
okay, great. Thank
Okay? So far, I mean, we've heard all kinds of prices, but he's very reasonable, and he is compliant to what the code requires.
you. Okay,
Some people are trying to use the Vanica website that Seacrest has. I do not believe that that meets the state statute for a website. So, they feel, well, it's there, why don't I use it? Who's gonna maintain it? Are you gonna be able to add all your information on there? And I don't think Seacrest is willing to do any of your work for you.
no, they can't do their own.
Well,
That's a whole other story.
let's move on. Okay, we're almost at the end, and you guys will answer as many questions as we can. You need to have a census. Years ago, you had to do a census every 2 years. You had to file it, you had to send it to the state, you gave them money. About 4 or 5 years ago, the governor said, no, we don't need your money, but you still need to do the census. Okay, and this is basically where every 2 years, you need to have a census of how old the people are that are living in your building. Management company sends out a form. It says, who the owners are, and they ask for a current valid ID to verify what your age is. Those now become property and the responsibility to maintain those as records of your association, and you need to do that every 2 years. I know people say, well, why? Well, we had a situation, and without mentioning the association, where an individual association was sued for age discrimination. So they turned the individual down because they were underage. The first question the lawyer asked said, can we have the census of your building? And the president said, what census? So you know how far that lawsuit went, right? It was an automatic loss, right off the bat. So you got to do it. Some people don't want to give you the information, some people do want to give it to you, but at least you've made an attempt to do it. And as long as you've done that, you've done your job. You can't take a baseball bat and hit them over the head and say, I need this information. But in my own building, I have 56 units. I had 21 people return out of 56, and only one corrected it. Six people sent me the form filled out, but they forgot to give me an ID. And it's an entire year it took me to get one person to get it. And they don't understand it. The way I'm telling you is, I've done my job. My management company sent out the mailer, I made a request. Every meeting that I have, I ask, I have blank forms, I need it filled out. Okay? I've done my job. So, for some reason, I just found out today that somebody in my building cropped their picture out. They wouldn't send me their ID, their driver's license, because they figured if somebody got a hold of it, it was a way of stealing her identity. Okay? Which is valid in today's world, but that's okay. But at least she filled it out, at least I did something. Okay. House Bill 913. Please, if you are an officer or you're on the board, make yourself available of House Bill 913. It's available onto the website. If you go on there, put it in. There are many changes have been done, and a lot of the things that, a lot of the legal updates, it's basically a lot of legal updates that need to be followed by the association. And as of October 1st, I know all the officers in here did it, October 1st of 2025, you needed to have an online account with DBPR. That's the government agency that oversees condominiums. And if you have a problem with your board, or if you are a unit owner, if you have associations that are not doing their job, or officers that are not doing their job, that's the department that you complain to. They're in Tallahassee, and we have that form available at the front desk at the UCO office. Yes, ma'am?
When Shauna came out to help me make sure I was signed into that correctly,
Yes.
even though they take care of the SunBiz for us, we still, as the management, I have to send in, after our annual meeting, the new officers.
Yes.
Update that myself, so they won't do that. The SunBiz doesn't take care of that. They don't communicate. The
Seacrest
state-
has a form that they give you after your organizational meeting. You fill it out, your new officers, you sign it, you give it to Seacrest. They use that to make your filing with the state.
No, I was told,
I'm 100% certain of what I'm telling you. When you have your organizational meeting, after your annual meeting, Shauna will give you a Seacrest form, and it'll say who's your president, secretary, director at large, blah, blah, blah. You're gonna fill it out, you're gonna sign it, you're gonna give it to Shauna.
yes.
Shauna in turn is going to make the filing for you with
Just-
DVPR, the annual filing.
Well, I'll double
Now,
check
there is
because
a
she
second,
was
there
just
is a second form that you need to fill out that belongs to UCO. That's, so we know who to contact, who's on the board this year, and who is your delegate to UCO.
Yes.
You get one.
I got that from Donald from
But-
Seacrest.
I'm gonna verify that because Shauna told me that form, she sends it to SunBiz.
Right.
But to
She basically
file
told me the
on,
same thing I just said with less words.
well, she told me I had to file the update on the D.
You're talking about the filing,
Something about
and
it.
yes, you need to do that yourself. That's not the same as the annual filing,
No, I know,
which we've always had to do.
yeah, she's gonna take care of the SunBiz report on that, from that form. But
And
we
between
have
you,
to,
and between you and me, I believe that this is a management function. I don't think the manager should, I couldn't do it. I literally couldn't do it. Shauna did it for me, she did it for
She's
Ruth.
not doing it anymore,
But
Donald.
they stopped, they just don't want to do it,
Yeah.
not even for money. I disagree with that. I think that's a management function, or at the very least an accounting function. And they're your accountant as well, so.
well, she came out to my condo and helped me make sure, because I had opened it, but I
Right.
said, I don't see how I get into it to report things. What do I have to report?
I did the same law.
And she finished that part of it, so.
Okay. I'm done with my presentation, my outline. Hopefully I got you all a little confused. Now we're here, we can discuss. We have 45 minutes. We'll try to answer as many questions as we can, just as long as they're not legal questions. John, I know you have a question.
Page one.
Yeah, I know you do.
Okay. Listen, as the conversation goes, real estate people can't ask for bylaws and whatnot. They don't want to give them to them. But when you get down to the time of closing, when all the transactions, this guy gets money, this guy gets keys, you get the deed, blah, 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 back and forth. Well, then once the owner gets it, they come back and say, well, I don't have the key to the mailbox. I don't have the key here. And I don't have this, and I don't have the bylaws, and I don't. So, aside of who's allowed to do what, somebody on both sides is allowed to do everything.
Right.
If the owner is selling it, he better make sure that all the bylaws and all the forms are there. And the realtor don't have to see it. They don't have to see any of it, as long as he's got it to
Okay,
presentation.
he just became a proponent for what I said. If you have a website, this just happened to us on Wednesday. We were coming home, we were coming back from our annual meeting, and a realtor came out and says, oh, by the way, I have a contract for a unit in your building. And go on the website, you want the rules, you want the bylaws, you want all that stuff, go on there. He was very happy to do that.
But what I'm trying to say is, make the realtor do their job.
Oh, of course,
So like, they can't, they want to bring stuff into UCO when it's come to the board.
but that's what I'm saying.
They bring it to the board and we'll bring it in and we'll take care of it and give it back to the realtor once it gets approved.
Good.
But it seems like they're trying to delegate all of their business to us, and we're doing their work. They get the money, and we get the work, and it's bull. Make them do the work.
100%.
Also,
If they can't fulfill their end of the deal, then the deal don't happen.
also, as far as the mailbox and the mailbox keys, I had to change my mailbox and get my own key. It's $10 in
That's,
Home Depot. I wait for the mailman to come and I told him we have to change it and it was fine. The building's not responsible for the mailboxes or the keys. And a lot of people don't, I don't know why, maybe spite or whatever, they don't leave the mailbox key or the key to the laundry room or the pool or whatever. So, you know, it is their responsibility, but if somebody's moving out, good luck with trying to get everything from them.
well,
And John, just to add in my 2 cents. Hugo is part of what you're describing because our policy is we don't allow agents into our building. And there is a reason for that. Over the years, those agents caused absolute chaos in our office. Up to the point that they were going into our office and going through our file cabinets. It had to stop. So we just don't allow agents in the building, period. We only want to see a board member or their manager. And that's who we take documents from, and that's who we hand documents to. Make sense, everybody?
Yes, ma'am.
I had 2 questions. The first question was, I know that the common element we have between the 2 buildings is 20 feet. However, the problem is that we have like avocado trees and I think star fruit trees. And people are coming to, you know, take down the avocados out of the trees and the star fruit out of the trees. And one of the residents was really upset because she keeps on chasing the people out because they're climbing the trees to get it.
Yes, every year.
And you know, it's a liability. It's a liability
All right,
issue.
so it's funny you should mention this. The night before last, I attended, I belong to the Citizens Advisory Committee of PBSO, the Sheriff's Office. And there's a representative for all of the sections of District 3. Century Village happens to be one on its own. And every one of them, there were police reports of complaints about mango deaths. And that we were all saying, you got any mango? Yeah, actually we do. It happens all over. Who's going to say, you know, who's going to be the police of the mango trees? Yes, they're climbing your trees. Yes, that tree is on your property and it doesn't belong, they don't belong there. What to do? I really don't have an answer for you. Just say, get the hell out of my tree.
What if they fall?
Well, that's what we've been
If they
doing.
fall, there's gonna be a claim. There's no two ways about it. You know what I would do personally? I'm gonna tell you what I did. I got a sawzall and I cut down the damn mango tree. Had enough. Alright? Almost always, these mango trees and these avocado trees are ad hoc plantings. They were not planted by the association. They were not planted by the developer. These are over the years, we all come from New York, we buy our first mango and avocado in Publix, and we think we're living in the Garden of Eden, and we bury the pit. And those 2 types of trees happen to take off really well in this area. Just get rid of them.
Well, the question is, God forbid somebody should fall out
God
of a
forbid
tree.
somebody should fall, they're gonna sue, and there's going to be a claim.
And will it, we're
I have no
liable,
idea,
right?
that's for an
The
attorney
association
and
would be
that's for an
liable,
attorney
right?
and a claims adjuster to work out.
Okay.
But me personally, as a property manager and a longtime director in co-ops and
Right.
condos, when something is an attractive nuisance, I get rid of the attractive nuisance, and that's how I solve the problem.
Right.
Even does the same thing with iguanas. This time of year, you got kids playing over at the pool there. There's iguanas running around. Come on, you're from Queens and you're a little kid. You see an iguana. You think they're dinosaurs. You're gonna run right up to them. She calls the trapper and she gets rid of the attractive nuisance. You should do the same.
Okay, is there,
You could go to Publix and buy your mangoes.
okay, no, I saw a sign that says trespassing?
Yeah, yeah, you can get a PDSO trespass,
Oh,
so
I don't-
what?
How
What-
would we
what-
get, how would we get that?
Stop by my office, I'll give you the application.
Okay, great.
You get the signs up, they still come and take your
I
mangoes,
know.
now what?
That's right.
Myself, I said the same thing, just cut the
We've
tree
already
down.
spent too much time talking about these mangoes, and we've all got other things to do. Just get rid of the mango tree, be done with it.
Poisonous?
Well, that's a good question. Seacrest always tells us, don't eat the coconuts, don't eat, right now, I had old coconuts trimmed. Why? Because we put pesticides on these trees, and particularly the coconuts, and you remember the experiment where you took the stalk of celery and stuck it in the food color water when you were in the 2nd grade, and it's capillary action, the red food color water goes straight up to the top. That happens with the coconuts. Yes, it's poisonous. People don't listen.
No,
Every year I go up to this lady and say, lady, please don't eat these coconuts, they're poisonous. You know what her answer is? I am a Jamaican. I don't know, it's a non sequitur, I don't know what. Yes, sir.
I passed by the tree cutting yesterday, and the people cutting the trees had a small truck. They were filled with coconuts.
Yeah, and we usually have to have a security guard in back of the tree cutter because people are trying to get into the wood chipper to get the coconuts out.
Well, you
You
can
know.
go to the green market and buy those.
Right, now, you go to the green market and buy them. You go to the farmer's market in Lake Worth, you buy those coconuts. Do you know of any coconut farms in South Florida? No, they're all coming from condominiums, but you're drinking pesticides, 100%, because that's what keeps whitefly out of the coconut palms.
And just to add to that, because it's WPRF that issues a WPRF fishing license because we're responsible for the shorelines of the waterways. And so one of the rules, we give them rules, and one of the rules is it's catch and release only. And so why is that? Not only is you go buying water from the county, so that's the reclaimed water that's high in phosphorus and nitrogen, but again, you're putting all kinds of pesticides down on the lawns, then the rain comes, it washes it into the lake, right? And the buildings that are right on the water, their water's being drawn from the lake, and those coconut trees and those mango trees and the avocado trees, that's what they're being watered with.
The
So-
reclaimed water that we buy from the county is recycled toilet bowl water, very simply. It is considered to be 98% potable. I'm not gonna want anything that's been irrigated with 98% potable water unless I'm absolutely dying of hunger and thirst. Because I don't wanna tell you what's in the other 2%.
You might wind up glowing in the dark, you could turn the lights off and you're just lit up and, you never know.
I was in pest control for 21 years up in New York, so I know what's here. Because they still use clothing down here, right?
They absolutely do.
And now we have dogs and people are picking up the poo and then that's in the grass and then that washes in the lake, so listen, we got it all,
I have a question on the iguanas. What is the whole UCO policy? I've been told if you're behind your unit, you're responsible for paying. But I just heard you say something about you let us know when we come get your iguana. What is the actual?
Each property is responsible for getting rid of iguanas on their own property. UCO takes care of UCO property, and for the record, we don't have a program. EVA takes care of WPRF property, the associations take care of their own properties. Now, all winter I'll get calls. I want to call a vendor, and I'll give them the vendor. I give them EVA's vendor, and he's a good guy, and he's reasonable. But I got to tell you, if you'll get rid of all the iguanas on your property, and next door isn't, you're gonna have.
They
So
still have the same thing.
Yeah,
Yes.
sometimes I've seen up to 50 out behind 10 because it's water. And so, but they.
and you got Iggy in back of yours. He's as big.
Oh, we get like now.
Iggy is as long as a car stop, and he's about the same color. I know
Yellow,
iguana.
orangey, but they're on both sides of the water, so they're building, our building.
His name is
building.
Iggy, that big one.
Okay.
Even good.
Well, what I was gonna say, our trapper, and they're territorial, and I don't know how they know, so he comes and he'll take 50 or more. He also tries to time it when he thinks they're gonna be laying eggs, because they lay eggs 3 times a year, 100 each time, and then they hatch. Just imagine how this replicates, right? So, I can see, you know, when you park on the north side of the parking lot and there's that triangular piece of grass there that's next to Picnic Island, in the morning when you drive there, you can see their little heads above the grass and they're facing the sun and they're sunning themselves. After he leaves, you don't see the heads anymore. But then give it a week and suddenly you've got heads again. So I know they're swimming across the water. They somehow know that the area is now open because they're territorial, and so they do come from other parts of the village. I just can't keep up with all of it, but he's a great guy. We don't allow him to do anything with them while he's on property, so he'll even set up traps. He puts palm fronds on top of the traps. He even puts in a camera. He's in Port St. Lucie, so that way he can see when he's got them in his traps, and they're living, even though we know we have to dispatch them. He's not cruel, he's very kind. They're still a living thing, and we need to treat them that way, as living, not leave them in the sun to suffer. So I highly recommend this man. He's been with us for years. Never mind the good deeds he does in his community. So it's important, and I wish that other buildings would jump on board to help us try to control the population, because we will just always be overrun if we don't all work together.
Yes, sir.
I believe my question is for Eva. The sailboats, when they're out on the lake, they look beautiful. Good selling point for Central Village. My question is this, and I know there's a problem with maintainability and insurance factor built into this, but why aren't paddle boats allowed, even if you charge the people that rent them $5 or whatever, aesthetically they would look beautiful out there and they'd be a selling point.
Right, and we used to have them. And actually, when you come on the island, you'll see to the right-hand side on the shore there looks like it looks like a lookout, but I understand that that's where sailing was originally housed. And we did have the paddle boats. Imagine the size, and how many would I have to have? And we have to store them along the shoreline. I think, quite frankly, it would be ugly. I don't even know that we could get that insured. The fact that they are willing to insure our sailboats, you know, we keep our fingers crossed on that every year, but we have a very strict program where you have to be trained, you have to get in the water, you have to prove that you can take a capsized sailboat and upright it yourself, and so that sailing is manageable. Nothing else I don't see would be. People ask me all the time when they move here and they have kayaks. We'll give you our kayaks. You know, you have to draw the line somewhere, and so it's beautiful. And if you want to come learn how to sail, come learn how to sail and be out there on the water in a sailboat. It is beautiful.
I have a follow-up on that. On pedal boats that I understand, you can have two people, but they can't tip over. So you don't have to worry so much about tipping a sailboat out in the air, trying to climb back in.
They can be tipped over.
They can,
If I'm on one side of them and you can go,
Well,
yeah, I've seen them tip over.
you know,
I've never seen
okay,
one
so,
tip over.
but imagine two people, how wide is that? It's wider than this table, two people. And where am I supposed to put all this when a hurricane comes? How do I store that? I can stack the sailboats up on top of each other. I've got a long space where I can do that. You know, we can tie them down, but to me, it's nothing but, it's problematic. And so we just don't go there with that. We decided at some point,
Exercise out in the sun, you
I know.
know. And you don't have to worry about the alligators.
Well, you could feed them alligator, but mechanical, they need maintenance and they're expensive.
They're just like bike
Yeah,
pedals.
but
There's
everything
nothing
takes-
else. Yeah.
to me, it's the size and, you know, how do I, again, we built racks and I've got 9 stacked on a rack. What do you do? They all have to sit on the shore. I don't know what that would take. What would that look like? People, when they look at the clubhouse, we want to make sure that it's at least pleasing,
Oh, yeah.
you know? So there's a lot of things that went into the decision to get rid of them, and I don't think it would be an easy thing to resurrect, and I don't see it happening.
Any other questions? Question? Yes?
I wanted to go back to the 4 meetings a year.
Yes,
It's 1 meeting a quarter.
yes.
It's not that, because some people are saying, well, let's have 4 meetings. You have to have one per quarter.
You can't can't have them all on the same day.
Right,
Correct.
yeah, orderly.
In my building, we have our budget meeting at the end of the last quarter, fourth quarter. We have our, the first quarter, we have our annual meeting, and then we usually have a goodbye meeting in April, and maybe at the beginning of the season. That's how we get them cranked out.
Yes, ma'am.
About the certification update, February the 10th, what time?
It's, the 4-hour class starts at 8 o'clock in the morning, goes from 8 to 12. If you need to register, you go to HOA Condo Expo, West Palm Beach.
You get lunch still?
You still get lunch,
Yeah,
yes.
you get lunch.
You get free parking, free lunch. You go on that website, register, and then after you register, you go back in on the left-hand side. It has a list of all the courses that you can take. The very first course is the certification course.
Well, and the only 1 hour I need.
If you take the 4-hour course, the last hour counts for the update.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Lorraine, a person in our building gave me the website that we can go on and do it online, is that?
It's available online also.
Okay.
Yeah, the Becker Law website.
Yes,
Yes.
If you're a Becker customer, it's free.
okay.
And I think it's now $50 if you're not.
It is.
Who asked me about the Lanai earlier? Well, all right, while we're having this meeting, you saw me in my phone, my next door neighbor sent me an email with a picture, a piece of the ceiling inside the Lanai, inside a storage closet that was built by a previous owner, popped out. It was a piece of spooled rebar. Is this my responsibility or yours? Mine, association. And while we were talking, I have the general contractor over there now to check it out. It's so common you won't believe it.
If you have any questions for our treasurer or one of our vice presidents, we're here.
I was just going to add something.
Sure.
When we do our annual termite inspection, where the guy comes and goes in each unit,
Yeah,
we also do our key check
good job. Good
at
idea.
the same time, because there's many times they'll change their lock through the year and don't tell you, or they've got the deadbolt and the doorknob, and now they have 2 different keys or whatever. So we do a key check at the same time we do that.
Very smart.
Yeah. I know that, the funny part, now this big thing is the digital locks.
Yeah.
I had somebody in my unit, in my building, that decided to put a digital lock, and they had a power, it wasn't battery operated. It had a battery a electronic backup, and the power went out. And she came down, she could not get into her unit. And she didn't have a key, it was completely digital. Cost her $450 waiting outside for a guy to come and take it apart and replace it. She now has digital but with a key. So don't recommend putting just digital there. Yeah, and you need to give the number to the association in case of an emergency.
And don't change the number the next day.
Yeah.
On purpose.
Yeah. Any other questions for us? All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much.
Thank you
Thanks,
very
everyone.
much,
Thank you for coming.
and thank you for all that you do.
And just remember, Yuko, when we're open, we'll answer all your questions. Except for legal questions, we'll tell you to talk to your lawyer.
Registered with DBPR, I got in on it.